and rowdy, and give a thunderous clapping for two amazing rock stars. Can I get Vanessa Riley and Carl Hawthorne to join me on the stage? Come on. Make it loud, make it loud.
Hello, I'm Carl Hawthorne. I'm agent with a team of 10 agents. We are kind of service everything below Atlanta all the way to the North Georgia mountains. And this year we'll be under about 60 million in sales. I've got 22 pending to close this month. We had an open house just last weekend where we had 150 people come through. And we've got 4 listings coming up this week. The market, it's there. Don't make excuses. Like, we're going to dominate.
I love it. Clap it up for Carl. That's amazing. Awesome. Vanessa, please say hello and tell them about your business.
Thank you. I am Vanessa Riley. I am local. I'm here in Metro Atlanta, and I am a broker owner of a little boutique brokerage called Domo Realty. I've been in the business since 2007, and this year our GCI will be a little over $1 million. We're holding steady from last year, so we're going to close right under 60 transactions or so.
All right, I love it. All right, clap it up for Vanessa. I want to get into each of your marketing strategies. First, I'd love to hear a bit more about just your stories, where you started, where you're at now. Carl, talk about when you got into coaching and what that looked like for you from a catalyst standpoint.
So I was plateauing at about 45 transactions, and I really just, I'd gone through cancer, a rare children's bone cancer at age 38. There were only 5 adults that had that cancer. And literally I had drained myself physically and mentally and financially as well. I remember times where literally I'd put just a couple of dollars in my tank just to be able to afford enough gas to go to the next showing and hopefully make it back home. And so I watched Tom Ferry Summit on virtually back then, years ago, and I decided I had to make that commitment. And so I just scrounged up as much money as I could and made that commitment, and I went from 45 to 75 to 95 to 125 to 160 to 175 transactions a year.
Okay, that's amazing. That's epic. How does that happen? I know that's a strange question, but we listened to Carolyn earlier, and it's a similar story where there was a decision to say, hey, no matter where you're at in your business, I'm stuck. And I see the potential of where it is, and then you hear about the snowball of it. I wonder if you could unpack some of the mystery of that coaching relationship and how that works from your vantage point, just your perspective.
Well, my real estate coach, Tom Ferry, became my therapist. She became the one that knew my business more than my spouse, my wife. Yeah. She knew, Carl, quit spending money on this. Go back to some of the basics, and I needed that. I needed someone to reel me in. As real estate agents, we get calls every day about this great new lead source program, and it's going to give you so many leads.
Right.
And it's so untrue.
Right.
And so I needed that accountability to kind of hold me from overspending and just going more in debt.
I love it. Let's say we're 30,000 feet in the air looking down on your business operations. How would you describe your marketing strategy to this group here?
So, one thing that I had to get out of my head years ago is my face has got to be everywhere. People remember a face more than they remember your name written out. And that was kind of hard for me to understand because I'm not someone that's kind of stuck up on myself. And it's hard when you're making videos because you sound horrible to yourself, and you want to retake multiple times, but it is amazing how great video will bring extra kind of credibility to your brand. Yeah. And I'll go to listing appointments and people will go, what do you think about this room? And they'll go, oh, that's right, I watched your video, I need to clean this up. I'm like, well, go do it. So, that reinforcement of your brand is huge. trying to think, what was the other?
Well, so what other aspects of marketing? It's not like video is not the end-all be-all for all things marketing. What else, like your coach told you to go back to the basics, what does that look like in terms of growing your business?
So one of my biggest things is farming. I love farming, and that's not planting flowers or anything like that. I really suck at that. But actually farming neighborhoods. And that was something I could do with sweat equity. I didn't have to spend a lot of money.
Yep.
And literally, I remember there was a dominant agent in my neighborhood, and she ended up having to drive by 5 for sale signs to get to her house, and she moved out of the neighborhood. So, that neighborhood, I would close about 36 homes a year just in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's just taking the time to host events, to send out mail outs, being there and real in that neighborhood. And that was a huge pillar of my business.
So was it postcards? What kind of events?
Postcards, you should really get in touch with who the HOA president is and what their loves and likes are, and try to sponsor events in the neighborhood for that. We do garage sale maps, so the HOA will send an email out in our farms to say the Carl Hawthorne Team is going to be providing maps this year to your house. Please send them an email with your phone number, your address. So we get all that information in, and we produce a map. They get to share it. We got their information to be able to market to them for the next garage sale and other things. And it just it's just a great, when you give to people, they will give back. And literally I'll get listings because, wow, you do so much for our community. You just don't take like the other agents.
Well, I think you come across a lot of agents who look at geofarming as strictly a marketing activity. But you made a comment a moment ago about being there, the idea implied of being present. And I would make the argument that in the truest sense of the word farming, you've got to plant and then harvest. And I think a lot of agents fail to harvest the relationships. They just send out postcards, or it's disingenuous. What are some of the activities you're doing to be connected to the actual people in your farm area?
So we bought recently a popcorn machine. So we're passing out popcorn for movie nights, and we've got like an audience there that's stuck with us for the whole entire movie. So it's easy for you to go and just meet everyone. We do contests in the neighborhood. So for example, if I have an open house in that neighborhood, I'd like to tie that to like a charity event as well. So cans for a food pantry for the school, that's local school right there, the elementary school. We also do things for pet rescue, costume, dress up for like Halloween, like come to our open house and a $50 gift card. And you get adults that all of a sudden show up with all kind of outfits just for that.
That's so good. Let's keep the same question. You're looking at this group here, you're looking at the marketplace, you've gotten a sense of the content and you've heard the stories from people during Q&A. What's your advice for somebody who's looking at your business, and you said you have how many deals closing, I think this month you said?
22.
20, so clearly you've worked your way up to a top production business. What would you say to somebody who's admiring where you are today? What would you say to them where they are today?
First, I'd say this is kind of an activity. Look to your left, look to the person to your left, look to the person to your right. Data will say that only one of you will be here in the next 3 or 4 years. You have to make a choice. Do you want to stay here in this business or not? And this is not an easy business. This is hard work. And if you're willing to put the commitment in, and if you sign up for coaching, you will have someone that will push you to make sure that you will survive in this business. I see massive opportunity in the whole lawsuits that are coming out. Like, it really excites me. I know that's sad, but it excites me because there's so many agents that are wanting to complain about the semantics of whether the buyer or the seller actually pays the commission to the buyer and all that, and they're getting so stuck in those weeds instead of saying, the market's going to shift. We're going to have to change our talk path, and we need to prepare our listing presentations to be able to educate our clients that, listen, it is not mandatory for you to offer a buyer commission. What I can do as your agent is to let you know those listings will typically stay on the market significantly more if a buyer is not going to have a compensated agent on their side. It's still your choice, but don't run and hide from this. Like, don't try to get into the weeds. Like, the industry's changing. I've been in the business for 20 years, from short sales to this. You just have to pivot, just like COVID. Like, COVID was one of my best years. 180 something transactions, when some agents wouldn't even show their clients houses. And like in open houses right now, I believe agents have abandoned their clients. They have let their clients go on Zillow and look for homes and send them out to open houses and don't want to do any of the work. It's our time. This is your time to be able to dominate in this business. So like when I couldn't afford $2 worth of gas to get to my listing appointment, like, you can do this. If I can, deal with 5 days of chemo, 8 to 12 hours infusions and 38 radiation treatments, 36 blood transfusions, 4 platelet transfusions, and 12 surgeries in 1 year. Like, you can do this. Like, you can do it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You're an inspiration. Both of you are inspirations. Thank you for everything you've shared. And I agree. If you put your mind to the work to be done and you understand what you're looking to achieve, absolutely, each of you can do it. Can we clap it up for these two? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.